Ladies and gentle mages, civilians across the multiverse, welcome back to another episode of ManaMan, and today we've got a special juicer for you because we get paired up with the #1 ranked player in all of Mythic right now. Shout out to Moonface. I don't know how this happened. I think the matchmaker might be a little bit drunk right now because we're getting paired up with Platinum players and Mythic players alike, despite being Diamond 3 at the time of this recorded video. I have no idea what's going on. The matchmaker is just doing some crazy things, but I don't know. We get paired up with the #1 Mythic player, and this is the deck we use to take on in the ladder. As you can see, I've already made a video on this special deck, so I'll go ahead and leave that in the description below. But if you can see, this is we're playing Alchemy. Obviously, this is the deck that we're using, and for some reason we just get straight ahead into the #1, which is, hey, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good match. It's a nail biter, so this is a different type of video, but I won't keep you holding too much longer. This is the deck. Description is in the description. The deck is in the description below, and let's get ready to vanquish this very, very special enemy. So it starts off here, we are on the draw, and they drop the Hopeful Initiate, and we give them a hello, because obviously every single time you're playing the #1 Mythic Rig player, you gotta give them a hello, and shout out to Moonface, because they give us a hello back, so that is absolutely awesome. I sit here, and I'm a little bit confuddled here. I don't know if I want to drop the Fading Hope on the Hopeful Initiate, so I'm actually going to save it, because I was going to maybe use the Fading Hope on something a little bit stronger. So they swing in, we do take the damage, unfortunately. Always intimidating when you're going second versus the #1 player playing mono white. So Thalia comes out, and we actually decide to use the Fading Hope on the Hopeful Initiate because obviously Thalia is going to make all of our spells cost more. So I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going to have to use that. So we didn't really know that. Sucks that we'd go down to 19, but we do see a Divine Purge here. So that's really awesome. The Divine Purge is going to be obviously very effective versus a mono-white creature deck. So I'm actually going to drop the planes. I actually debated dropping the Jwari Disruption, but I think because we have enough land, I think it was maybe worth it in case they have some sort of like Inquisitor Captain or something. We could still use Jwari's Disruption for 3. So we go down to 17 here, and I'm a little bit getting sweaty, and they drop a Brutal Cathar, and this was actually a sigh of relief here, because if they're dropping the Brutal Cathar for 3, just as a beat stick, that's pretty bad. A 2/2 vanilla for 3 actually plays out into our favor pretty well. So now I'm confuddled here. What do I want to do? Do I want to drop a land and then maybe go for Jwari's Disruption? If you notice that we actually have to go for Emeria's Call, if we want to bolt ourselves, we have to it'll cost 3 to go Emeria's Call. Now this kind of sucks because it does go nighttime on the Moon Range Brew, but I don't really see what else we could have done. Obviously, we have to be careful because we have to commit from either white or blue, so I don't really know if I should have done the Emeria's Call or committed to blue with the Pathway, because we are a little bit split up here. So we did want to keep the Jwari's Disruption. And they actually play around the Jwari's Disruption. I don't know if that was intentional or not. But now we get to go into Divine Purge, and this is an absolute load off of our mind. Unfortunately, it is still night, so we didn't take care of that. So they drop an Usher of the Fallen, not 1, not 2, but 3 Usher of the Fallens. And at this point, I was like, holy crap, they got 3 Usher of the Fallens on us. So now we're kind of, okay, now we're a little bit confuddled here. All of our creatures, our instants and spells and whatnot, do cost the proper amount because Thalia is no longer on the battlefield. I think it's time to go for Key to the Archive. So we're gonna go ahead and take what do we want out of these 3 cards. I think I end up taking it was either definitely not Claim the Firstborn. We actually take the Regrowth, and I'm thinking like, what do we want to do? We want to get rid of Emeria's just the Emeria's Call, because it does cost us precious life that we don't really have to expend here. And we're gonna get hit with these 3 Usher of the Fallens, and we go down to 6. I am beginning to sweat pretty profusely here. My toes are curling. I am not feeling very good. So we're down to 6, and they still have 3 untapped planes here. So they're just going to go for the Hopeful Initiate, and I guess I let out a sigh of relief at this point because playing that Hopeful Initiate for 3 is pretty bad. And that right here, I always like to be very considerate, whether the #1 or not. I always say thinking, just in case I know that I'm going to take a prolonged period of time. So I tell them thinking, and we go for the Regrowth, and I think I go for the Divine Purge. We could have casted Doomskar, but I think I opted to go for Divine Purge anyway, because this way, obviously they have to come in tapped anyway, and we can actually use Jwari's Disruption. This becomes hard. Do I want to use Jwari Disruption, or do I want to go for the Foretell? I opt to do the Foretell. I think that's the best move at this point in the game, because now we get to use Doomskar for a little bit cheaper. They drop an Elite Spellbinder. That is not good. I did not want to see that. They take away our beautiful Kraken and our win condition, so that's really bad here. So now we're sitting here. We can't quite cast the Hullbreaker Horror yet, despite having a Key to the Archive and a bunch of land out, but we can use Divide by 0. But then again, Divide by 0 is going to make them be able to recast the Spellbinder, and then You know, so we're like, okay, well, it's still the lesser of all the evils. We're gonna go and divide by 0, and we're gonna take a learn spell here. So that's really nice, and now we're really confused. What do we want to do? We're counting up our land here, as you can see that. And I'm gonna take Teachings. So Teachings is gonna go through. Unfortunately, we only draw 2 cards rather than 4 or 3. We're just 1 card away, which is unfortunate. But now we do have a Jwari's Disruption with the key to the archive. So if they dropped some sort of Inquisitor Captain, we could use it. And this sucks because they used the Elite Spellbinder instead. But we kind of figured it was coming, so we can't be that upset. So, Jwari Disruption, we could have played it and tapped them out for 1. Looking back at it, I still don't think that's a misplay because we still have Doomskar, so if they go extra wide here, we can still take them out. So, not the biggest of deals. So now we're sitting here with a Field of Ruin. I'm staring at it, reading the Field of Ruin like I don't know what the Field of Ruin does. Probably just shaking. At this point, I think I was literally just like, oh my gosh, we gotta put on. So at this point, I think we're just sitting here going, alright, I think we'll just let it go. I don't want to waste... waste a Doomskar or Divine Purge at this point. We're going to go ahead and use the A-Hullbreaker Horror. And this is kind of a risky move, because obviously we are taking 3 damage here. So, unless we wanted to use the Divide by 0. So, it's either cast the A-Hullbreaker Horror or the Divide by 0. I'm a little bit apprehensive. We do take the damage here, so we go down to 3, and we've got to be careful. If they dropped, like, a Cave of the Frost Dragon, ooh, I would have been so sad. Because Cave of the Frost Dragon is really hard to hit with the A-Hullbreaker Horror. So we would have to, whatchamacallit, or the Divide by 0 rather, because it's less than 1. So Thalia, okay. Thalia comes out. It does come out tapped. So at this point, we're going boom. A-Hullbreaker Horror. They are tapped out. Every time as a control mage, if you've got A-Hullbreaker Horror out and they're tapped out, absolutely wonderful. Now is the time we establish control and they know that they can't. But hey, look. Awesome game. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more Magic deck videos every single day.